There are two main types of weather systems that affect the British Isles, the depressions, the ones that we've just looked at, and the second of them here is your anticyclones. Let's take a wee look at those now and find out what we need to know. What we need to do first of all is cover just some general information about the weather patterns, and then we're going to look at the winter and summer differences that exist in an anticyclone. So, a couple of general points. Anticyclones are areas of high pressure. That means that the air is falling. Now that's the opposite of a depression. Those are areas of low pressure where the air is rising. So whenever you learn the characteristics of the depression, anticyclone, the opposite, high pressure, the air is falling towards the ground. They're associated with calm weather, very often sunny, but as I say, there are important differences in the summer and winter. Okay, what are the general patterns that we see with this? First is this, wind speed. There's a gentle pressure gradient. The isobars are far apart. And you can see that over here. I'll show you another map in a moment to contrast this with a depression so that you can really see them. But the isobars are far apart, so the winds are generally light. Winds are generally light. So that is your wind speed, first of all. So do this. Then you've got your wind direction. So in an anticyclone there is a clockwise circulation of air, clockwise. So you can add that in to your little diagram here, this clockwise circulation of air. Now again, that's the opposite to a depression where the air circulates in an anti-clockwise direction. And the final general point to make is this in terms of cloud cover and precipitation. Because it's high pressure, there is little cloud. Now the reason for that is as follows. If you remember back in depressions, as air rises, it cools and condenses to form cloud and bring rain. Air rises, cools, condenses, forming cloud and bringing rain. Well, if air rises and cools, then in the high pressure, as air is falling, it warms. So it's high pressure, that's falling air. As it falls, it warms. So it will not become saturated. There's little condensation and little or no cloud cover and precipitation that you find with this. Now here is, it looks like a complicated weather map to begin with, but let's unpack it bit by bit. Let's try and simplify it down a little bit so you can see what you're looking at here. Over here you've got the centre of a high pressure, and up here you've got the centre of the low pressure. Here you have your front, cold front coming down there. Just make that pen thicker so it stands out better. Cold front coming down there, and your warm front coming down there and curling in towards the centre. You've seen that before. There is your centre of your low pressure and your centre of your high pressure. Now, one of the things I'd like you to note with this is that here, these isobars are much further apart here than they are here. You see that? And that's what gives you your light winds in a high pressure system in an anticyclone. Also said to you that the air is going to circulate in a clockwise direction. So let's turn on an animation for that in a moment. This is your wind direction of exactly the same map. Here is your centre of high, your centre of low. You've got your fronts, and what I've just said is that the winds are going to circulate here in a clockwise direction. The winds up here will go in an anti-clockwise direction. Let's see if we can see that in operation. There you go. There's the front, is in between them there. and you've got that circulation there in a clockwise direction around the high pressure, the circulation there in an anti-clockwise direction around the low pressure. Clockwise direction high pressure, anti-clockwise direction around the low pressure. There you go. So that's the first part of the introduction to this. Next video we'll go on to take a look at the winter and summer differences.